What screams I was emotionally abused as a kid? I work as a receiving transportation CEO. We received a young 20-something with some slight developmental disabilities, very violent. We had to strip search him to receive him from the jail. Dude smelled awful and was incredibly awkward about being naked and taking a shower required for receiving. He even had a sock that he got from somewhere tied around his dick. Made his own fabric protection of sorts. All the other CEOs there were like ... for real, that kid was abused. Took me a lifetime to realize that childhood emotional trauma follows you through your life. Deny it. Say it doesn't bother you, forgive the perpetrator. Accept that it was just part of your life. All these words when it came to relationships I was a disaster and still am. My good friend has demanded I seek I will. I hope I get some understanding of why I am who I am. God bless all you poor wretches going through your life with this burden. Post feels like walking in a garden of roses, and I am picking and choosing what do I relate to the most. Sometimes no matter how pretty you whistle to the world, and how much the world likes it, inside your head it's just a whistle in the dark. Always blaming themselves over someone else's mistake or bad behavior. Apologize constantly. Indecisiveness. Not trusting their own judgment. Low self-respect. Accepts poor treatment from others if that means not getting into conflict. SPA, if you relate to some of what you are reading here, this does not mean you were emotionally abused. Many, if not all of these comments are coming from individuals with experiences, but not doctors. Being afraid to ask for help because you don't want to inconvenience anyone. Always thinking that people see you as a burden when you ask for help of any kind if someone does something for you. Prioritizing the happiness and health of everyone else before their own. I struggle with this so bad my BF had to tell me it's okay to care about myself first before I realized how much I do it. Constantly roasting yourself. Or being like, wow, I'm awful at this, haha. I have like zero skills whatsoever, something like that. Or someone who constantly apologizes for the smallest things. I also agree with hyper-independency, also antisocial. Basically you do whatever it takes to not get attached to people to avoid the chance of reliving the trauma of bad feelings. I only got emotionally abused, but it has really turned me into such a people pleaser. And I'm really struggling with standing on my own, because I don't trust my own judgment. Trying to be nice to them is impossible. They think you only want something in return. The concept of being nice to simply be nice with no strings attached is unknown to them. Ninja steps. People are constantly commenting about how you're sneaking up on them when you feel you're just walking normally. My boyfriend told me I was the most important person in his life, and my instant reaction was that's not supposed to happen. Unable to celebrate yourself. Feeling awkward hosting parties or dinners at the fear of inconveniencing others. Being extremely empathetic, which I feel is a good characteristic. But a lot of times it's a trauma response. The inability to let anyone take care of you in any way because you don't want to be a burden. Hyper-independency. You have to become everything for yourself when you don't have someone to lean on. Justifying their shitty parenting by saying my parents did the same thing and I turned out alright. Hypervigilance. Constantly scanning for potential danger. Monitoring people's moods and emotions. Maladaptive daydreaming, or being obsessed with escaping reality in some way, e.g. books, shows, etc. Being uncomfortable in your own home as an adult or never being comfortable with living situations. Catching yourself giving out too much personal information and actively talking less afterwards. Thinking everyone hates you, always judging you even when there's zero evidence to support that. Someone screaming I was emotionally abused as a kid is probably the easiest way to tell. Assuming every person who's acting like they care about them will eventually betray them. Attention seekers. I'm answering as if it's the answer to a riddle you posed. Being overly apologetic, afraid after making a mistake, like spilling a drink. I was emotionally neglected and developed a schizoid personality disorder. Typing out a comment and deleting it because your opinion doesn't matter. Being very guarded and really picky on the people you let in your life. Apologizing for everything and anything even when it's not your fault. Automatically assuming people don't or will not like you by default. I don't like how relatable these are. I'm going to continue crying. Being really good at changing the subject to alleviate the tension. Self-sabotage, emotional distance, difficulty connecting. I agree with hyper-independency, but also hyper-dependency. Difficulty opening up to people, even well-trusted people. Flinching when someone moves quickly in an unexpected way. Me, every Wednesday at noon on the beach. Therapeutic.